Chapter 13 The Chrysalis Unveiled. Lucius awoke to the sound of his own heartbeat, pounding in his ears like a war drum. The darkness was thick, suffocating, pressing down on him from all sides. For a moment he wasn't sure if he was alive or dead, floating in some liminal space between existence and oblivion. Then, slowly the darkness began to lift, revealing a world that was both familiar and alien. He was standing in the same chamber where the conclave had begun their ritual, but it had changed, warped into something unrecognizable. The walls, once solid and imposing, now seemed to breathe, pulsing with a sickly light that made his skin crawl. The air was thick with the scent of ozone and something else, something acrid and metallic like blood and burned circuitry. In the center of the chamber, where the altar had once stood, there was now a massive writhing cocoon. It pulsed with a life of its own, its surface covered in strange shifting symbols that seemed to dance and writhe under his gaze. The chrysalis. Lucius approached it, cautiously, every instinct screaming at him to turn back, to run. But he couldn't. Not now. Not after everything he had seen, everything he had experienced. The chrysalis was the key, the answer to the question he had been seeking his entire life. He reached out a trembling hand and touched the surface of the cocoon. It was warm, almost alive, and it responded to his touch, shifting and pulsating beneath his fingers. As he pressed his hand against it, the symbols on its surface began to glow, burning with a fierce inner light. And then the chrysalis split wide open. Lucius staggered back as a blinding light erupted from within the cocoon, filling the chamber with a searing, white-hot brilliance. The air crackled with energy, the very fabric of reality twisting and warping under the intensity of the light. And from the heart of the chrysalis something emerged, a figure bathed in light, its form shifting and changing with every step. It was him. Or at least it looked like him. But there was something different, something wrong. The figure was taller, more imposing, with eyes that burned with an otherworldly fire. Its skin was covered in intricate pulsating patterns, like the ones on the chrysalis, and its movements were fluid, almost too fluid, as if it wasn't entirely bound by the same physical laws as the rest of the world. The figure smiled, a cold, predatory smile that sent a shiver down Lucius's spine. "So you finally made it," it said, its voice a perfect echo of Lucius's own, but with a strange metallic edge to it. "I was beginning to wonder if you'd ever get here." Lucius stared at the figure, his mind racing. What are you?" The figure laughed, a harsh, grating sound that reverberated through the chamber. "I'm you, Lucius. Or rather, I'm what you could become. What you will become, if you have the courage to embrace it." Lucius took a step back, his heart pounding in his chest. "This is insane. This can't be real." The figure tilted its head, its smile never wavering. "Reality is a matter of perspective, Lucius. Haven't you learned that by now? The chrysalis isn't just a transformation. It's an evolution, a transcendence. You can become more than you ever imagined, more than you ever feared. But you do have to make a choice." Lucius shook his head, trying to clear the fog of confusion and fear that clouded his mind. This is wrong. This isn't what I wanted." "Isn't it?" the figure countered, stepping closer. "You came here seeking answers, seeking power. The chrysalis can give you that. It can give you everything you've ever wanted, everything you've ever dreamed of. All you have to do is let go of your fear, let go of your humanity." Lucius felt a cold chill run down his spine. The figure's words echoed in his mind, intertwining with the visions he had seen in the Nexus, the possibilities, the nightmares. It was tempting, so tempting, to give in, to let the chrysalis consume him, to become something greater, something more. But at what cost? He thought of the conclave, of the sacrifices they had made to bring him here, to guide him on the path. He thought of the people he had lost, the ones who had believed in him, who had fought and died for a better world. Was this what they had wanted for him? To become a monster? To lose himself in the pursuit of power? No, Lucius said, his voice trembling but resolute. No, this isn't right. This isn't who I am. The figure's smile faltered, its eyes narrowing. You're afraid. I can feel it. You're afraid of what you could become. But fear is the enemy, Lucius. Fear is what holds you back. Let it go, and you can be free. Lucius shook his head, backing away from the figure. I'm not afraid of becoming something more. I'm afraid of losing myself in the process. I won't let the chrysalis take that from me. The figure's expression darkened, the light in its eyes flaring with anger. Foolish! You think you can fight this? You think you can walk away? The chrysalis is already a part of you. It's in your blood, your bones, your very soul. You can't escape it, Lucius. You can't escape me. Lucius felt the air around him grow thick with tension, the chamber vibrating with the intensity of the figure's rage. But he stood his ground, refusing to be cowed. I don't need to escape, he said, his voice steady now. I just need to choose. And I choose to stay true to who I am, no matter the cost. For a moment, the figure seemed to waver, its form flickering like a glitch in a malfunctioning hologram, the light around it dimmed and patterns on its skin fading. So be it, the figure hissed, its voice dripping with venom. But remember, Lucius, this is only the beginning. The chrysalis is part of you now, whether you like it or not. And one day you will have to face it again. You will have to face me again. And when that day comes... It didn't finish the sentence. Instead, the figure dissolved into a burst of light, its form shattering into 1,000 fragments that scattered across the chamber like so many shards of glass. Lucius stood alone in the darkness, his heart still pounding, his mind still reeling from the encounter. The chrysalis was gone, the chamber silent once more. But he knew, deep down, that the figure's words were true. The chrysalis was part of him now, and one day he would have to confront it again. But for now, he was still Lucius, and that was enough. With a deep breath, Lucius turned and walked out of the chamber, into the unknown future that awaited him.